Ologist. I don't know how to say that word, but he does some kind of paranormal science stuff. Parapsychologist. Christopher Chacon. He's famous. They hired him. They had him come and do an extensive investigation, and he spent 18 months and did a round-the-clock investigation. He brought the latest technology and a lot of other scientists with him, and they were going to look at everything to try to disprove, basically. Their goal was to disprove that the place was haunted, because that's what scientists want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So they looked at everything like background radiation, air pressure, magnetic fields, all sorts of things, like any kind of scientific explanation to stuff everywhere on the ship. They interviewed 1,500 people. And all the people they interviewed, so these are some of the things that people have saw. They saw smoky, translucent forms, a woman in white, dark shadow figures, feeling of being touched, pulled, and grabbed, hearing voices in conversations, but no one's around, cold and hot spots, like extreme difference in temperatures, power surges, and doors and furniture moving on their own, just a few things that people listed. Of the 1,200 overall documented events, he said 60% of that had explainable factors, like scientific things. There's a reason for these things that happen. They proved the reasoning and whatever. 30%, though, he could not explain. He said he has no explanation for it, and all he can say is paranormal. And it's really interesting. He talks about like the two types of hauntings there are. One is like an imprint of energy, and you can imprint your own energy and be alive and leave it somewhere. Right. And how like it's like a loop. Like they say, you hear singing or you hear this happening, it's a loop, and they just keep looping and looping. The energy stays. And then there's other ones where they're more active and conscious, and they're actually haunting and doing things and interacting with people. And he believed in paranormal, but he also believed science had an answer to a lot of the things people said, but there are real things out there. Right. So that's what his findings were. Also, a famous psychic, Peter James, and Planet Paranormal, which is an investigator, like a paranormal investigation group, did investigations on the Queen Mary. And I got a lot. I read a book called The Ghost of the Queen Mary, and it was written by Bob Davis and Brian Clune. Bob Davis is the co-owner of Planet Paranormal. And in the book, it talks all about the history of the boat, plus all the ghosts that are named, and knowing who they are and the history of those ghosts. Oh, cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the specific ghosts that are famous on the boat and the Queen. So, the first person that Peter James ever found, her name is Jackie. He found her, she appeared to him in 1991 on the ship. She's 5 or 6 years old. He saw her at the Royal Theatre in the ship, and the Royal Theatre that's in the ship now was actually the second-class pool back when she would have been on the ship. Right. He asked her who she was, and she responds, "Meet me at the other pool." To her, that she's still in the pool. She wanted to go to the other pool. She meant the first-class pool. So he goes to the first-class pool, and documented on film, he speaks with her for 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and this actually made him, like, famous. Like, he ended up appearing on the TV show Sightings, and it made him, like, world-renowned, like a world-renowned psychic.
Can you still find this?
I haven't found his video, but it's out there. Hold on, I got more.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's speculated that he thinks, like, it's hard to get straight things when he's talking to her, but he thinks she was part of the brides and babies voyage, but he does know she drowned in the second-class pool. She likes to play and has been seen by many different people in the first-class pool. She likes to play peekaboo. There's stairs and a balcony at the first-class pool, and she'll peek over and look at, and people will see her. In 2009, Planet Paranormal went in, and they found her and recorded a 7-minute conversation with her. And their whole thing is in that book. I said, The Ghost of the Queen Mary. And I really suggest reading it. There's all sorts of stories in that book of people's real, like, their own story about what happened to them on the ship. And I'm not going to read all those to you. Obviously, you can read the book. But it's really cool. If you like that kind of thing, I really suggest reading the book. It's really good.
I do.
Yeah, it's super good. So, you could read their whole conversation they had with her in the book. She's really a popular ghost because everyone's seen the video or read about Planet Paranormal's experience with her. So people would go and just to see her. And they leave like little toys out to see if she'd come out. Like people try to have conversations with her. She's very chatty. She will talk, like interact with people. And like I said, many just go to people that heard about her would go to Queen Mary just to try to find Jackie, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then there's Sarah. Peter James met her when he was trying to talk to Jackie. She's 6 to 8 years old, but sometimes she'll appear as a teenager. She's kind of like Jackie's protector, and I think that's why she tries to appear older. Because I think Jackie is so chatty and interactive with people that Sarah wants to make sure she's safe. When people try to talk to Jackie, sometimes Sarah will like say no and like try to scare them away. Peter said she even scratched him at one point.
Creepy.
Yeah, she will scare people out of the pool area. They think that she drowned in 1949. She gets agitated and even, like I said, will chase people from the pool area. And she'll wander around the ship but she's always near Jackie. And if Jackie leaves, she leaves. Like wherever Jackie goes, she's there with her.
They're ghost buddies.
Yeah, they're buds. And then there's a ghost called Grumpy. And Planet Paranormal called him that because he likes to growl at people. He's often found in the green room, which used to be the engine room, I think. And then he can be heard and sometimes seen in the stairway underneath the pool. There's a stairway going into the first class pool, and underneath it there's a tiny little room. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that little room. They think that there was a passenger on the boat that accidentally killed a woman and hid her in that little stairwell and then killed himself.
Yeek.
And they're thinking that he's that because he keeps going into that little room and he's angry. And you can smell cigars down in that room. Like back in the
creepy,
like 30 to 40 men were smoking cigars everywhere. The next one, his name is William Eric Stark. He's not he has no relation to the Stark family in Game of Thrones,
and not to Tony.
No, not Tony Stark either.
Okay.
No, he's not related to any of them. In 1948, he was a senior second officer on the ship, and after his duty, he had to entertain a couple of other new officers in his cubby room, whatever you call it, their bunker. I don't know.
It's cubby room.
Cabin. That's what you call it on a ship. A cabin.
I think that it's probably accurate.
A cubby room. Yeah, they probably aren't big.
Like a cubby.
So he asked the steward. He's like, "I'm in a hurry and I need some gin." So the steward, knowing he was in a hurry, ran to the cabin next door, grabbed the gin out of that cabin, brought it to him, not knowing that the person in that room had drank all the gin and for some reason decided to fill the gin bottle with tetrahydrochloride, which is a very strong cleaning solvent.
Oh, that's nice.
William unknowingly made himself a drink with lime juice and then drank it like didn't know. How do you not know what you're drinking?
It was just, maybe he didn't really like alcohol. He just wanted to get drunk.
Maybe. So when his guests come and he pours them a drink, they realize this smells like tetrahydrochloride or whatever. They knew the smell was not right. And they're like, "Dude, you're drinking poison." And he kind of laughs it off like it's not a big deal. "Oh, well, of course I did. I'm stupid," or something. I don't know. And he was fine that day, the rest of the evening, and went to sleep. Next day, he woke up horribly ill. They took him to the hospital. There was nothing they could do for him, and he passed away.
That's awful.
It's awful. His spirit can be seen in the captain's quarters, because he was an officer. He roams the promenade. I like to say it like that. The promenade.
The promenade.
And you can sometimes you hear choking in the hospital, and people are associating with him because he was like dying. His esophagus all got
burned from
Yeah.
Stuff he kept drinking was burning.
Yeah, it's like, how do you not know what you're drinking, dude?
Maybe
I know
he wasn't a big drinker.
Maybe. I think I would know if it was a cleaning solvent, but, that's just me.
Ooh, this alcohol burns. It does burn. Not like that. All right? That's a bit much.
The next ghost, his name is John Petter, and he was 18 years old when he worked on the ship. And in 1966, he worked in the engine room, and that was a pretty big deal for him. He probably was so excited to be on, Queen Mary working. I wouldn't want to work in the engine room. It had been awful, but...
It had been horrible, hot, and sweaty.
Yeah, awful. So, to entertain themselves, they were hot, sweaty, and just down there cramped with a bunch of dudes. And they're probably, they would have...
Nothing...
Can't be fun. I mean, come on.
And not smell good.
It couldn't have smelled good.
I can't imagine. No.
So they would do these watertight door drills where they would they set the alarm off, and then So they would do the air show. Oh, sorry. Someone came down and we got distracted, and I have to go back to where I was, and I can't remember. Okay, they did watertight door drills. So they had to practice that because the door would shut super fast, so they had to get to the other side of it. So they had to practice going through the doors.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to go anyplace good.
So they would play this chicken game to show how manly they were. Because, that's what they do.
Because that's what stupid boys do.
Yeah. So what they would do is the last person would wait to the last second, whoever wanted to do the chicken, and then slide under the door quick. Well, our friend John, poor John, was too slow, and got crushed by the door. It's door number 13, too. Now, they don't put 13 floors in buildings for a reason. We should have 13 doors on a big ship. Don't put the number 13 in it. Skip 13. Always skip 13.
Always.
And the sad thing is, he's not the first person to die in that door. Because during the war, there was a cook that everyone hated. He was mean, I guess. And he got crushed by that door. But some people think people held him there because they got sick of him.
That's awful.
That's awful. I don't know if that's true or not. That sounds
like something they would do.
But they were pissed at him, so they did. So he haunts, obviously, that shaft alley by the door. And he loves the ladies. I mean, he was an 18-year-old boy when he died.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The women feel strokes in their him stroking their hair.
No.
It gets worse.
No.
Tickling their ears.
Ah, that's terrible.
Some say they even have felt a breath on their cheek.
Nope.
When they're near door 13. And also when you walk by, sometimes you can hear moans and crying. And a man speaking in a whisper.
Nope.
No, thank you.
No, the stroking of the hairs. I've got a hard pass on that. No, thanks. Nope.
So, then there's Jack and Terrence. And Paranormal saw them by the first class pool and believed to be soldiers who perished with heat stroke, they're thinking, during the war. Because no one else died on the ship of,
right.
The war stuff. They always manifest together, so they think they're probably friends, and they're wearing their uniform. People will hear their names, they audibly hear their names, and when they appear, you feel intense heat, and they tug at people's clothes. So they want people to know they're there, and they think that intense heat is because they died of heat stroke.
That's sad.
Yeah. And they know their names because they say their names. They will say their names audibly when they manifest. Hey, I'm Terrence. Then there's the lady in white. She is described as a beautiful young woman wearing a white evening dress, seen dancing in the salon, which was the main lobby or the main lounge at the time. So she was probably one of the rich people that would dance the night away.
Yeah.
They don't know her name. And she can be seen gliding across the floor dancing throughout the ship, but mostly in that one part. If you try to approach her, she will disappear.
I wonder if she's the woman who got murdered by the guy in the room.
Oh, under the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe. No one ever thought of that. Could be.
She might just be manifesting herself someplace where she was happy instead of where she was murdered.
And she does appear happy. There's never any... You don't feel anything bad around her. And she's said to have kind of adopted Jackie. They'll be seen together. And if you're heading down to the pool, there's a hallway. You can hear her singing a soft, soothing voice and a child humming with her along. So they think that she kind of adopted Jackie as her own, which is kind of sweet and cute.
Yeah.
Her and Jackie are very much happy, light feeling when you're around them. They don't have, some of them, even though they're not going to hurt you or anything, it's not I don't want anyone tickling my ear. Thank you. Get away.
No, or don't stroke my hair. Don't tickle my ear. Don't breathe in my face.
No.
I don't want any of
that.
Get
dude. Okay.
That's creeper status there, buddy. That's unwanted touch, buddy.
Yeah.
No.
Not consenting. Then there is another John. There's so many Johns. John Henry. They think he might be the welder guy that got stuck in the thing. So he resides in the green room, which was the ship's generator room. It became a green room for the famous people that did their performances on the ship.